Greetings, everybody. It's your girl, Kiara Washington Speaks, and welcome back to my channel. Look, you all, I know it's been a few weeks since I have done a video, but I have been very, very busy with school and work, and yeah, that's practically it. You know how life happens. But anyway, if this is your first time tuning in any of my videos, make sure you go ahead and click that like button. If the content that you have watched in the past or this current video is inspiring you and you feel good about it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, plus turn on the notification bell so that you can be notified for any of my future videos, okay? Let's get into it. So, as you can see, family, the name of this video is entitled, basically my first Casa case. Now, if you don't know what Casa is, I'm basically going to give you a quick background on Casa, and I'll just inform you all on what the program actually is and what it's about. So in 2019, October 2019, I went into formal training for Casa. Now, Casa is spelled C-A-S-A, and it stands for Court Appointed Special Advocate. Court Appointed Special Advocate. Now, what that means is you basically are a court advocate for abused and neglected children in your city. And I remember it in 2018, because I know some people might say, Kiara, why did you get into this line of work, or how did you get into this type of volunteering? I remember at the end of 2018, I wanted to get a little bit more involved in my city. I wanted to know how I could be of more assistance, even though, I was in college and I'm working full time and I have a relationship and I have my own personal goals and aspirations. Something in my heart and in my soul wanted to be more attached to other people. And honestly, to be quite honest, family, that's just the nature of myself. So I went online, I looked at volunteermatch.com, which I will put the link in the description of this video if you are looking to do some volunteering in your area. And it basically linked me to a lot of different programs that you can volunteer your time to. And when I came across Casa and I read a description of what they needed and what they were looking for in their volunteers, it spoke to my heart. It really did. To be honest, if I just talk about my past and how I grew up, I did grow up in a single parent household. I know who my dad is. I knew who my dad was as a child, but I didn't really have a relationship with my dad because my dad struggled with drugs and he struggled with just not being present. He was just a very absent parent because of his drug addiction. He was just not there. So my siblings and I, we grew up in a single parent household. My mother was 100%, involved and committed. My mother did not even date anybody after my dad. That's how she was. Very religious too. That's another story. But she was just very committed to her children, and she was just very committed to make sure that we were as safe as we could be. And so even though I didn't experience any abuse or neglect from my mother or from any adult growing up, I knew of, honestly, I would say enough children that were around my age who had been neglected by their families, or had been abused by family members or friends of family. And I would never forget one girl that I grew up with. She was actually one of me and my sister's good friends. And we openly remember her telling us about the abuse that she dealt with at the hands of a family member. And I remember us trying so very hard and so very diligently to get her help. And without, going down memory lane and making this video very sad, our efforts, because we were kids at the time, we were probably about 11 or 12. We were between 11 and 12 or 11 and 13. Our efforts really fell on deaf ears. And I would actually say our efforts fell on deaf ears so much that we didn't really get any resolve. We didn't get any resolve. It was almost like, you're kids and we don't believe you. And we were never really able to help our friend to the extent that we wanted to. So that particular instance in itself, because it was very close to me, really inspired me to want to be an advocate for children who are not heard as an adult, because I couldn't really do much as a kid. It was very hard to do something as a kid. But now being a full-grown adult, I realized that I have a voice And I realized that it's important that I use my voice. So in short, family, that is one of the main reasons why I decided to become a CASA advocate. And so I was interested in CASA in 2018, but because the training ended up starting the beginning of 2019, I actually was sick for a while, about 3 months in 2019. So I was not able to participate in the first round of volunteering training. So later on in 2019, I had another opportunity to get into training. And y'all, let me tell y'all this. Before I even tell you about my case, because I know I'm giving you background on CASA and what CASA is. I'm going to get to the case. But CASA is no joke. You would think that, because there's a lot of work that has to be done. There's a lot of training, a lot of terminology, and a lot of situations and potential situations that you need to be aware of. CASA is a very in-depth volunteer program. We were actually in training for an entire month, and it was 3 days a week. So they were not playing with us. They were like, you're going to know this information. You're going to show up to this class. And the classes were not short. The classes started and they were like from 6 to 9. So they were not playing with us. But anyway, I graduated. I got my certificate. I had the local judge here in Richmond, Virginia, to sign off, and I got my certification as a CASA advocate, which is on my wall. Let me see if I can pull it off the wall. Hold on a second, y'all. I'll be right back. Because I should have had this off before I started the video. Sorry, guys. And if you see junk in the background, me and my fiance are actually preparing to move out of this apartment. So ignore the junk. I'm sorry. I need to get this video out. But this is I was able to pull off the wall. This is if you can see it, my Casa Certificate. So I am a CASA advocate in my city. Can y'all see that? There we go. That's better. But I'm a CASA advocate in my city, and this is my certification that I received last October. And so the short story, family, is, I said the short story. I'm never giving short stories. But going forward, this is something that really made me feel it made me feel that I was doing something good and something needed. And so moving forward, my first case that I actually got assigned to, my life is really funny. I'm sorry. Some things be happening to me, and it kind of just goes over again in my mind. My first case I was assigned to was in January of 2020, but I was in an accident in February. Don't worry, y'all. I know y'all be like, you have all these surgeries, you're in an accident. What's going on, Kiara? Look, it's all written in the stars. None of it has stopped any of my forward moving progress. I am a woman of purpose, so I could get smacked by a bus, and I'm sure that I'm coming out of that alive. Don't want to get smacked by a bus. But anyway, I was in a car accident. Woman totaled my car, and I'm in the middle of my first case, and it ended up, because I had to go through a couple of different things with surgery and all that stuff, I had to basically give over my case back to my case manager. Now, recently, in this year, I was assigned a case in the beginning of June. And by law and by CASA requirements and rules, I'm not able to give you any details on the case, which I am sorry that I'm not able to give you details. So I will be speaking in generalized terms. But my first case that I actually started and completed went from the beginning of June to just actually the court appearance was today. And today is August 10th, 2020. So if you're seeing this video a couple days later, just know that it was recorded on August 10th, 2020. So I had the case for about 2 months. And y'all, even though I can't tell you specifics about the case, I'm so glad that I'm in this line of work. I am very thankful that I am allowing myself to do it, because I've had a few people say to me, Kiara, how can you do that? I wouldn't be able to do that type of work. I wouldn't be able to be strong enough to do that type of work. That's difficult. That's hard. To know that children have been going through certain things and they don't have family to help them and all this and all that. And, it made me think about something. It made me think about, will I be the woman to change the world in its entirety? And no, I won't, because there's no one person who can change the world in its entirety. But can I be the good Samaritan if I don't see one? Yes, I could. I could be the Good Samaritan if I don't see one. So with this case, I learned that one of the major things, y'all, I learned in this case is how important family is. Family literally is everything. And when I say they're everything, whether you come from an adopted family, whether you have your aunt and uncle that are your family, your basic family members, whether you have mom or dad, or you just have dad, or you just have mom, or you just have big brother or big sister that raised you, family is everything. And as I mentioned earlier, I was raised in a single parent household, so I didn't have a relationship with my dad growing up. And so I, as an adult woman, realized the fundamental things I was missing as an adult that I didn't have as a child. And I realized over the course of my life, especially over the last 10 or 12 years, how me not having my father affected me. But I also realized this: the only person who is responsible for my life now is me. Even though he was responsible then, I am responsible for how I deal now. Now, here's what I'm really trying to say. If you don't have children, or if you do have children, you can still take this information in. But me, I don't have any children, so I say this to myself over and over again. I understand the importance of the family dynamic, and I understand how important it is to be in relationships that are solid and are foundational, because when we're not and we create children, we can actually wreak havoc on their lives and not even realize in totality that we're doing this to them. And the reason why I say that is because my Casa kid was not a little kid. My first kid that I had originally in the beginning of the year that I had to give my case back over to was a baby. So her being a baby, she doesn't even understand. She wasn't even 6 months. So she was not really aware of anything that's going on. But this Casa child I had was a teenager. And Lord, the teenager, she just went through so much. Her life was literally happening before her eyes, and it was more negative things that were happening or not happening for her than positive. And it made me think about, if she had a better foundation, if she had a more loving and caring, and honestly, a family who was really able to sustain her growth and everything else, and accommodate the things that she had been going through, she would have been so much better off. And it makes me think about this too. So us as people, we don't choose our parents, right? We don't get to choose them. But our parents honestly decide when we are here. They decide when they are going to create us and bring us into this world. So as a woman who's not a parent but desires to be a parent in the very near future, I really understand how important it is in the choosing of my mate. I understand how important it is in the choosing of how I love my mate, and how we, cohabitate together, how we deal with each other, how we talk to each other. Because I understand that if my relationship is good with him or her, whoever, then my child has a chance, a good chance, a great chance. But if I'm at war with him or her, you understand what I'm saying? And I'm saying this for you all as well. If you're at war with him or her, if I'm at war with him or her, like if we're at war with these people, the child already doesn't have a great start. And so my heart really went out to my Casa kid, because she did not have a great start, and currently is still struggling. And even in my position, my role is basically to be a voice and an ear for her. So I have to go and talk to, certain healthcare providers, and talk to people in foster care, and talk to her foster care parents, and then reach out to her social worker, and then reach out to her foster care worker. So these are a lot of different people, her therapist, and all these different people. And even though I'm collecting all this information and I'm getting all of these reviews and information from folks in her network, it's still nothing like talking to the child. When you actually talk to the child and you hear them, because they give you all this paperwork. Casa loads you. They load you with paperwork. But when you talk to the child, it's such a different experience, because their experience is more than the paper that you're reading. And so, in short, I would say you definitely have to know how to be emotional. Some people would say if you were a CASA worker that you have to be hard. I would say no. I would say you need to feel. I would say you need to be in touch with your emotions. I would say that for you, as the advocate, you would need to do a mental check-in with yourself, because not only are you dealing with the emotions of yourself, but you're dealing with the emotions of another human being. And then when you get into the networks of their healthcare providers and their foster care workers and those people as well, all these other people as well, you're dealing with all of their emotions, and some of them are overwhelmed with work. So you're trying to get information, and sometimes you can't get it when you need it, and it takes forever for people to respond. Sometimes the lawyers or attorneys and the GALs, they don't respond. So as an advocate, as I was saying, there has to be enough emotional maturity within yourself to do the work and to do the job. So what else am I missing? Because I know I'm going in, and I know I'm saying a lot, but the short story is this, y'all, and I'm gonna come off in a second. If you want to find a way to sow back into your community and give some time, volunteering is a great way. And if you have a love and a care for children, and you hate, and when I say hate, you really dislike seeing or knowing that a child is being neglected, not being taken care of, being abused, whether it's physically, mentally, or emotionally, knowing that they don't have the loud voice that's needed. If you have experienced it in your past and you are able to give back in that way, CASA is a great way to get involved. CASA is a great way to volunteer your time, and it's a great way to help out the children in your community if you're mentally mature and you can handle the work, because it is work. And so in closing, I just want to say that I know I will be probably assigned another case probably within the next month or so, and I'm looking forward to it. But I'm glad that I've submitted all of my information, and that I'll have probably at least a few weeks to a month off to recoup, because dealing with yourself is one thing, but dealing with yourself in your own life and then having to take on somebody else's, there has to be time for detox and meditation so that you can restore yourself to 100%. So yeah, y'all, that's my experience as a CASA advocate. I know this video ran a little bit longer than I thought it would be, but I just wanted to be a inspiration to anyone who may be considering volunteering, or who may be considering doing something along these lines. Because y'all, when I tell you, the family structure is so important. It is so important because it's like if you have it the whole time, you probably don't always know how important it is. But if you don't have it, and then you kind of compare someone else having a better family structure than you can see the lack. And for me, knowing that I've had friends that had both parents, and I saw the unity that they had with their dad and their mom cohesively living together, and to see that I didn't have my dad and my mom cohesively work out in my life growing up, I saw the disconnect. I saw the strife. I saw the struggle. And so, yeah, having great family units, which is the fundamentals, it is the foundations of successful children growing into successful teenagers and successful and well-rounded adults. Make sure the person that you are building a family with, him or her, whoever, make sure that they are somebody that you respect, love, honor, and are willing to grow with. Because if these are just people that you're just procreating with and just making kids with, and you don't really like them, and you don't really care about them, and you haven't really done your homework to get to know them, I can pretty much guarantee you that the kids that you will produce in this world, 9 times out of 10 will have some type of dysfunction toward you, because you have created that energy. You have created that dynamic. And that's something that we see a lot in the community. We see a lot of dysfunction because a lot of people are just having children with people, but they don't know the people that they're having children with. And they don't understand why their children are struggling, and why they, I can't control them. I don't know why they're going through all this, and I don't know why this happened to my child. Or, gotta do better. That's all I can say. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Thank you all so much for tuning in, for watching, for sticking with me this entire time. I know this video is like 20 minutes long, but my hope and my prayer is that it encourages and inspires somebody to donate their time, because look, somebody out here needs you. And once you've done the work to mentally mature and build and restore yourself and do the necessary healing, it makes it a lot easier to help someone else do the same. So I'm your girl, Kira Watch This Speaks. Make sure, if you have not already, make sure you hit the like button on this video. Go ahead and share it with your friends and relatives, as well as subscribe if you are enjoying the content. I hope to see you all soon. I'm out. Peace.